Well, you guys asked for it. To pay my debts to good old Spyro, I figured I would do 2 reviews today to the rest of his original games on the PlayStation. In this case, starting with Spyro 2, Ripto's Rage. And for those of you in another region, it is called Gateway to Glimmer, but over here we call it Ripto's Rage, so shut your mouths. Alright. Spyro 2, even though, in my personal opinion, it was my least favorite of the 3 originals, at least back then it was, but that doesn't mean it doesn't kick more ass than anything else. The graphics and looks to the game are just as good as they were in the first Spyro. There's little to no change. The music, however, is different, but still is the same great music here in the first. Once again, being made by the awesome guy known as Stuart Copeland. The story of the game takes place sometime after the first one ended. I'm unsure as to how farther it is from where the first ended, but I would say maybe a few months to a year later. Who cares? Spyro and Sparks decide they want to go on vacation and decide to go to lovely Dragon Shore. Okay, enough of that. But instead end up in some place called Avalar. That sounds like Avatar. Which is now being taken over by a villain known as Ripto. Ripto and his monsters have arrived in Avalar not too long ago, and now they want to take over. Jeez, what a bunch of assholes. And of course, it's once again Spyro's job to save the day. Ooh, yay, Spyro, yay, oh yeah. Okay. The gameplay hasn't changed much either, though you are collecting different things this time around. At the end of each level, you get what's called a talisman, and your main objective is to collect the orbs. The orbs is basically what you use to get 100% at the end of the game, as well as collecting the rest of the gems. The orbs can be found by completing some sort of task, or by just finding it on the ground. Mine for the taking. There are also new characters this time around, like Alora, the Professor, Moneybags, and Hunter. Moneybags is just some jackass always forcing Spyro to pay him in order to progress through the game. I kind of like this chain because it actually gives the gems some sort of value in the game, and they don't just serve as, and actually serve a purpose this time. Alora is some sort of goat, I think. Hunter is a sort of a scaredy cat. Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, it's funny. Now laugh. All right. The Professor is probably the smartest guy in Avalar, and is always inventing new things and always helping and always trying to help Spyro along his way, although it doesn't always turn out the greatest. There are lots of new abilities in this game, like the ability to spit rocks and other items, how to swim underwater, climb ladders, and how to head bash. Of course, these moves will cost you, and guess who you gotta pay? Yep, you guessed it. There are also new power-ups. There are also new power-ups in this game, like Super Fly and Super Flame and Super Charge. And they're all awesome. The boss fights are challenging, just like the rest of the game, which is something I forgot to mention. The game is much more challenging than the first one. Although it is still easy as hell for me, for somebody who just started playing, it might not be. It might not be. The flying levels are still here, and as I said in my last Spyro review, I didn't care for them much, but this time around, I think they've improved, and they're a lot more fun. My final grading for this game is an 8.5 out of 10. It is slightly better. It's not as good as the first one, but it's still a kick-ass game. And while there are new things to the game, it just feels like the last one way too much. I mean, I just feel like I'm playing the same game, but with a different story. But don't think any of this makes any of the Spyro games not worth buying. I'll see you next time on Zen Reviews.